Hi, welcome to the Lux channel. So I was quite busy for past few days and I was really working on a few things in the Toffee Data Center, and I was doing some revamp of its module so that it gives better performance and it reduces the overall packet processing latency and stuff like that. And besides, I was also doing some revamp of the graphs, and I was supporting the graphs via RRD. I was removing that old float graphs which is also supported via MySQL database and stuff like that. So besides the same, I was also curious that it can have lot more other analytics like TCP sessions and application status and stuff like that. I mean to say application means the network applications which is getting transferred in the form of packets. So it can be HTTPS, it can be something on VoIP, it can be any remote connections, MySQL database, Oracle transfers and stuff like that. So as a part of that, even before supporting the same, I thought let me support the count of TCP sessions. I can plot it as a live graph. This gives a sort of perspective in case if there is any malicious attack happening in your site to site tunnels. It may be somebody, an insider, it may be a rogue a rogue application which may be doing the same, and this is something quite easy to trace in case if there is any abnormal activity in the network. So I thought let me support newly the TCP sessions count in the graph. Earlier you must have seen various demos of Toffee Data Center. It never used to have the same. So if you hop on to the same, this is the new stuff which I supported. This comes via RRD tool, and it is not something, it comes via MySQL database. So it is completely redesigned, revamped. So with this, the graph also is quite easy to interpret. Unlike the earlier one, it used to have that overlap of RX and TX, and it used to have a lot of confusion. But in this case, you can see here it is quite clear. It is in that offset of 180 degrees, or it is in that opposite direction. So this way, since it has that offset, there is no issues with overlapping and there is no issues with color combinations and stuff like that. So below that, you can see here, these are the optimization stats, and below that you have this new TCP sessions. So this shows the entire TCP sessions activity of the live TCP sessions happening within the network. Since this setup doesn't have real site to site, instead this session have this setup, I mean to say, not session, this setup have an internet to a host PC kind of in between this WAN op devices and WAN emulator devices. So this will be like single direction. It is not something you initiate TCP sessions from this end to that end and that end to this end. So this is the reason here we get graph over here but not over here. So if I go to the test PC and open some few pages, we can also get some test data by doing so. And we can open some more couple of sites like YouTube and so and so. So all this data, it is going through this WAN op devices. You can see here this is one device, it is not logged in, and this is the other one which is logged in, and we have this GUI. So if you refresh the same, you can see there is a sort of a spike in TCP sessions, and you can see here there is also a sort of activity in this data transferred and the packets transferred, and in both the directions, LAN to WAN and WAN to LAN. So this way it gives more better picture unlike which existed before. And if you hop onto this, you can see here we can clearly see the amount of TCP sessions, and this shows like a rate of TCP sessions. So you get the TCP sessions at that instant in a way like TCP sessions per second. So this it is represented over here. And as I said, this virtual or else a VM desktop is at one end, on the other end you have the internet. So this is the reason from this desktop it can initiate any TCP connections, but you don't have the possibility of getting the connection from the other end, because if you see here, you have this other end, you have this virtual pfSense router, and beyond this pfSense router is this host machine itself, and from this host machine it gets connected to the internet. So you have this host machine and then the pfSense, and then you have this WAN of devices in between, some kind of WAN emulator happening, so that it reduces the speed of that network to emulate satellite networks and stuff like that. So which is what is happening, and you have this two WAN of devices, Toffee data center WAN of devices, and on the other end you have this test desktop. So this way we can track any count of TCP session. We can open any sites. Let us open them aggressively so that we get huge spike of data in that chart. Even here some couple of pages. So if you refresh this page, you can again see there is a lot of activity over here and a sudden spike. So this is the current feature I was working on, and as I said before, sometime in the future I may support something like application monitoring and stuff like that, so that we get sort of a live analysis of which applications are occupying the bandwidth, and you can even filter it out. You can do various other operations. You can see VoIP alone, how is the activity of VoIP data, and you can extrapolate VoIP versus SSL or HTTPS data, and if there is any kind of file downloads, you can also kind of do a sort of comparison of these packet transfers via live graphs, which is getting supported in the future sometime soon. So if you go here, you can see here it is still not much of data, so which is the reason it is not much showing anything. So we can just go here and open a test YouTube video, so that we see that we can little bit overload the channel and we can see how it is happening. So let me open YouTube. So let us just skip this ad. Yep, so it is playing the same, and if you refresh, you should see some activity. Again, it depends on the quality of the data and stuff like that. If the quality of data is of high quality, you get lot more activity. So in this case it is just 480 pixels. So let us bump it up to 720 pixels, and let me just hover this seek bar so that we get that sudden surge of data getting transferred. So if I go back here, you can see here, let me mute the volume. Yeah, you can see here there is a sudden surge than whatever it existed before, because before we are just opening few sites here and there, but now it's continuously pulling a lot of data from that remote YouTube server. So let me do a couple of times a seek operation so that it gets even more data. And if you go back here, if you refresh, you can see here that sort of spike, and then later it is sort of came down, and again there is a sort of spike, because again I did a seek bar operation of that YouTube player. So if you go here, you can see here the amount of TCP sessions again, which corresponds to that YouTube page, because YouTube is not going to open so many TCP sessions. It is going to be few TCP sessions, but bulk TCP sessions, whereas in the case of video download, it is going to be hardly one TCP session, but it is going to download lot of data. So which is why it is not much as you can compare over here. But if you open any website, it may have various resources, images and stuff like that. So it need to initiate various TCP connections or TCP sessions, versus if you do any bulk file transfers like FTP or some SMB transfers, or even a case like a YouTube or something like that, it is going to be hardly few sessions or just one session, but it has to transfer bulk amount of data. So that is why it is being represented in this way. So with this, I would like to wrap up this episode. I'm still on the way supporting couple of more features, and I may do Toffee Data Center release once in every 6 months, and I don't want to hurry up, and either as I said in many videos, Toffee Data Center I'm really supporting as a paid support, that too for large OEMs who have that large infrastructure where either they can make products, WAN-opt products with Toffee in it, or else if they have existing product range, they can put Toffee as a part of that to support WAN optimization, or if they have any SD-WAN cloud services, they can even deploy Toffee within the same, so that they can get either last mile optimization, or else they can have some kind of optimization within their SD-WAN fabric as well. So hope you guys loved watching this video. In case if you have any questions, be in touch via mail. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.